All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the CA IDMS Portfolio Simplification webcast. My name is Len Thompson. I'm CA's mainframe community manager, including CA IDMS. Before we get started, please remember if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A box right in the WebEx. If you don't see that box in the lower right of your screen, there's a question mark icon in the upper right that if you click on that, it will open up for you. Also, we're going to be doing a short 2-question poll at the end of the webcast. So if you could spare a few extra minutes to fill that out for us at the end, we'd really appreciate it. With that, I'm going to hand you off to Sheila, so take it away, Sheila.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as Lynn had just suggested, depending upon where you are in the world. And thanks for everybody for taking the time to participate in our CA IDMS Portfolio Simplification session. We certainly appreciate your time and consideration. My name is Sheila Miller. I'm the Database Product Manager within the Mainframe Business Unit. I'm responsible for both CA IDMS and CA Datacom. And joining me today and delivering the presentation is Dave Ross. He's our Senior Principal Product Owner and our IDMS subject matter expert. He has over 30 years of experience with the product. Many of you, I'm sure, know Dave. He's our IDMS guru. I also wanted to take the opportunity to introduce you to Ravi Patel, who's our Senior Director of Product Marketing. We work really closely with Ravi, pulling together some content for our customer base, such as today's webcast. And this is actually the first of an ongoing monthly series that we'll be offering throughout the year. So more to come on some more sessions as we post some things on communities. So our flow today, I'll be kicking things off with a brief overview on what the CA IDMS Portfolio Simplification is before handing it over to Dave to share some insights on a number of the different add-ons that we want to highlight as part of today's webcast. So we'll walk through that process, and then I'll wrap things up with a couple of interactive customer polls, as Lynn alluded to, and then a few points around influencing our roadmap, as well as some upcoming events that we'd like you guys to all know about. So with that, let me jump into the session itself. So the CA IDMS Portfolio Simplification, this is a really big deal. It really truly adds a tremendous amount of value to our customer base, and I feel it's a great example of how CA's ongoing commitment to really ensure that our customers are realizing the value and the product that you guys are investing in. So back in August of 2017, we actually rolled up many of the IDMS add-on products into a single offering, and it's now under the base code. So basically what this means in a nutshell to you is that if you are a licensed CA IDMS DB customer running a current release, which is either 18.5 or 19.0, you can benefit from many of the add-on options that you may not be or may not have been previously licensed to utilize. So the only two add-ons, or the only two products that we did not include in this consolidation, are the IDMS Press Pack as well as the IDMS Performance Monitor. However, there are 29 additional options that are now available to you for you to take advantage of moving forward, and we'll get to that list in just a second. Is my slides advancing okay, Len?
Yep, they look great, Sheila.
Okay, fantastic. So just to take the, to define the simplification process a little bit further, it's really, the goal really is to offer our customer base a better user experience. So we want to add more value, we want to encourage you to improve the use of your systems through added functionality, all without having to really expand your budget. So for example, if you were not previously licensed for the SQL or the server options, you now have the opportunity to use them. And really, these products alone are a huge, it's a huge value. They're the foundation products that drive modern application development within your organization, so that you can, further leverage the investment you've made in IDMS and taking advantage of newer ways to reach your customers. And Dave will be talking a little bit more in detail about that in just a second. To make this process easier for you, you can access these features without updating any paperwork, and because IDMS has included the entire product set within the base software since 18.0, no additional downloads are necessary. From a license key perspective, if you're running 18.5, you will be required to contact support and obtain the license keys to install the options that you want to leverage. And that shouldn't be a new process for anybody on the phone. I think you guys are all familiar with that process. However, those of you that are on the latest release of 19.0, which we hope you are, we did create an enhancement PTF where all the new licenses are available on your base license key. So you basically just simply need to apply that PTF, and I highlighted it on the slide in blue, so that's the PTF you would apply to access the new features. As far as the next renewal, when your renewal comes up, the contracts will be updated with a single SKU, which will be the CA IDMS DB for either ZOS or VSC. And then, this really does help simplify the contractual process as well from an administrative perspective. So it's all good. All right, let me just move to the next slide here. This is a list of all the options that are now available to you as part of the base product. So we categorize these in groups based on the business benefit derived by the product itself. So from mainframe economics, where the add-ons help improve system resources, as well as business agility by means of modernization through tooling that actually helps improve developer productivity, such as the SQL and the server options. And the others that are highlighted here in blue are the products that we will touch on today as part of this session. But as follow-up to the session, we will provide you all with a copy of this presentation, and we have an appendix in the back that outlines each one of the options and their associated benefits, and I'll point you to a couple of websites in just a second as well to give you some more insights on the simplification. All right, so this is a snapshot of the other CA mainframe products involved in the simplification process. We aren't going to talk about these today. I did want to make you aware of them. Many of these will require product downloads along with the associated license keys that I just mentioned. We will be having additional webcasts similar to what we're hosting today to cover some of these products are on the slide, such as CA Datacom, in the coming weeks, the coming months. So stay tuned for more insight on dates for that. But if you do have any questions in the interim, please feel free to reach out to your CA sales team for more information on these specific products, or reach out to Dave or I, and we can point you in the direction as well. All right, so additionally, as I just mentioned, I wanted to share just a couple of links, a link to the support.ca.com as well as docops.ca.com, where you can find more details on the simplification and the associated products. So this will help kind of guide you through the process if you're not familiar with it. So with that, I'd like to pause for just a minute to see if there are any questions before we get into the actual product-specific discussion here. Len, do we have any questions in the?
There aren't any questions yet, Sheila.
Okay, all right. So at this point, Dave, if you'd like to take it from here, and I'll pick it up towards the end of your section, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks, Sheila. Morning, everyone. Well, probably the most popular of the options that are now available as part of everyone's base license are the IDMS SQL and IDMS Server products. I think many of you know what these are. These are really sort of the cornerstone of the ways that customers can do more with IDMS than that they're currently doing. Many of our users are interested in keeping their system running, and some of the utilities and tools we'll talk about in a few minutes can be helpful with that. But the IDMS Server option, which is what allows new applications that can be running on Windows or running in Java platforms, and it can be used to build web services with application servers. The server option provides the ODBC and JDBC connectivity, and SQL provides the standard query language. And a key point about our SQL is that it allows access to your existing network databases. You don't need to migrate. You don't need to replicate. You can just, with a very simple schema statement, and it's an SQL schema, you can enable access to all of your existing databases pretty much instantly, and then you can build Java or Windows or .NET or whatever you like applications that can then access those databases. They can read data, they can update data, Furthermore, they can also reuse existing business logic that you may have developed in COBOL, PL1, or ADS, and you can invoke that as an SQL procedure. So it's a really powerful feature that, we're really excited to be able to offer this to all our customers now. It's something that, many of us have hoped that we could offer for a long time, and I think many of our customers have been looking for that. So that's I think is really good news. The other, something that's new in IDMS 19 is the ability for IDMS applications to participate in web services directly without using SQL or server. It's a little bit of a different path here. You can see there's no intermediate server. Web services feature can allow IDMS applications to consume web services somewhere else, or to reuse business logic as a web service directly. These are kind of, in terms of reusing existing business logic, these are kind of two different ways of accomplishing the same goal, to provide flexibility where customers would like it. Next slide, Sheila. Okay, this is just to drill down a little bit into the web services feature. This shows IDMS consuming a web service, and what our application, an IDMS application can, a diagram shows here an XML request and XML reply, because that's sort of the use case that we've developed with it. It turns out that you can actually put anything in that payload, but what our product currently does is it takes that payload and it uses HTTP protocols to send a SOAP request to an application server somewhere that can do something, whatever it does, and return the reply. And our web services implementation strips off the SOAP reply and returns the payload to the application program. Next slide, Sheila, please. Okay. The other side of this is that an application where you've got some computational logic, some navigational logic, anything you like, can be exposed as a web service. So a web service consumer can directly connect to IDMS. Typically, you would really normally do this within your firewall, and send the request to IDMS as a SOAP request. IDMS Web Services will extract the SOAP headers and turn the payload, whatever format it is, whether it's XML or JSON or just clear text. It really doesn't matter from the point of view of the application program. And then that program can process the request and then send the reply back to the web services interface, which returns it to the application. Okay, next slide. Okay, some of the other things that we have that can help is Ads Alive is something that we've got a number of products that were originally part of the, I think we call them the IDMS tools, and one of these is Ads Alive. Ads Alive is a source level debugger for ads code. It lets you debug dialogues. It has an animation mode where it will step through the statements at a specific pace. You can set breakpoints. So it is a really, really helpful way to do online debugging of ads applications. Next slide. And another add-on for ads is the ability to run ads in batch. As you probably know, ads itself is really an online system. It was originally designed to provide an easier way to develop online applications than writing in COBOL, where it's a little bit higher level language than COBOL, it's sort of a 4GL. But the real value add was the integration with mapping, and it was much simpler than some existing mapping solutions. But that being said, you can write business logic in ads, we call that process code, and with ads batch, you can actually run ads application code, and instead of output going to and from screens, the output can go from files, which really sort of extends the usefulness of your ads environment. Next slide. And furthermore, to help your programmers working with ads, the Ads Trace tool is now available to do online tracing of ads applications. So between Ads Alive and Ads Trace and Ads Batch, we've really kind of provided a full suite of additional tools to help your programmers maintain your ads applications. Next slide. Okay. Now we have a number of set of analyzer tools, and you'll see a pattern here. I think we've got 4 or 5 different types of analyzers that can be used to really improve your operations and monitor your environment. DB Analyzer is a tool. It can be used to look at the physical organization of the database and look at statistics. It provides a complete set of reports. It's a little bit slightly different take than I think you may be familiar with the IDMS Debian utility. Well, DB Analyzer is a little bit different take. It has a set of analytical reports that you can use to monitor your database growth and figure out when you need to expand it and assess the benefits of a reorganization that you might have done. It keeps track of statistics that have occurred so that you can sort of compare things, the past with the current, and identify trends. Next slide. Another tool that we make available is DB Audit, whereas Analyzer looks at the sort of the physical structure of the database. DB Audit looks at the integrity of the database and can look for various types of errors that that sort of might creep in because of application programming errors, or perhaps a crash that an application program may have occurred. There's a variety of database integrity errors that could occur. And so what DB Audit does is it looks for these types of errors, and it actually can correct most of the errors that it can find, and then provides a report of the errors it found and the corrections that it took. So it's another useful tool between this and DB Analyzer. It gives you a couple of useful tools for really monitoring your ongoing database administration activities. Next slide. Okay. Another set of analyzers that are a little bit less about the structure of the database and more about your operation there's the Journal Analyzer. Journal Analyzer looks at your IDMS journals. For DB2 users, we call what DB2 calls a log file, we call a journal, and of course we have our own log file. So the journal is really where how we keep track of transactions, really, but the journal records are associated with users and terminals, and so Journal Analyzer provides the ability to see what's in your journals and get statistics and provide a set of reports that you can use to see what's going on. Next slide. Okay, Log Analyzer is a little bit kind of a similar type of tool. It provides a picture of resource uses and can be used for things like billing and audit reports. It finds much of the same information as Journal Analyzer, but it does it from looking at the log file, the DDL DC log area, and which has less impact on journaling than Journal Analyzer. So it's another useful tool based on the log file. Next slide. And a third analyzer option, which is, again, some of the same types of information, but it's really oriented on tasks. And it uses system exits to gather reports and gather statistics and produce reports. So between this set, they've got a fairly full set of analysis tools that you can use to look at the ongoing operations of your system. Next slide. And another operational tool is our online log display. What this does, this is lets you look at the contents of your log online through typically the OLP task. This is, rather than printing a log and then reviewing it offline, this lets you see things in real time. It's a useful tool for programmers and DBAs to really see what's going on. Application programmers can use this as an aid in the testing programs. I know as a developer myself over the years, I use this all the time to figure out what was going on as I tested my application programs. Okay, next slide, please. And I think turning it back to you, right, Sheila?
Yes, thanks, Dave. I appreciate that. And I just wanted to say that, you know, we went through some of these highlights fairly quickly today, and just to give you guys a flavor for what's available as part of the portfolio simplification, it was just to highlight a few of the ones that we wanted to call out on this call. However, I think I mentioned earlier we have 29 different options that are available to you now. And as you go through this and you determine, you know, which ones you may want to focus in on within your organization, you know, just reach out to Dave or I, and we'll, you know, we can take more time to go through it in greater detail. And as Lynn mentioned, we also want to have a poll at the end to see, you know, what you might want to focus on from a webcast for a future webcast for information. So thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. And I did also want to make another point that Dave talked about a number of enhancements that are only available in 19.0. So for those of you that are not on the current release, so you're still on 18.5 or even earlier, we would encourage you to, you know, upgrade so that you can take full advantage of the benefits that are part of the portfolio consolidation, as well as the, you know, the overall benefits in 19.0. So thanks again, Dave. I did want to touch on a couple of things before we wrap up. I wanted to close on some points around influencing our roadmap, and Robbie's going to share some insight on some upcoming events. So a couple of ways that we encourage our customers to influence our roadmap are to participate in our communities, our CA community site, and also to participate in our customer validation process. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the community site, it's a great source of information where you can network with other customers, you can work with our development teams, you can ask questions, gain insights, and you can basically get all the latest information on some of the events that are up and coming, such as this one and others that will be forthcoming. So communities ideation is also very key. It allows our members to voice product-specific ideas, and it's also a place that we look from a product management perspective to get a good feel for, you know, what ideas are important to our customers. So if you post an idea, it's, you know, promoted or you know, demoted based on the members' votes. So as your score increases, it allows us to look at these ideas and rank them, you know, based on what is important to the community members. So we meet on a regular basis to review the ideas within the ideation section, and that really does help, you know, help us gauge which product ideas are most important. And basically, based on that feedback, these ideas will either be considered for immediate action or inclusion in our backlog for future consideration. So please participate in the communities. Customer validation is also extremely important and key to the success of our products. You know, being part of this program, the customer validation program, that gives you, our customer, the opportunity to work directly with our product teams to help shape the future of our product. You get to work directly with development teams. You follow our progress. You get to provide direct feedback to our development teams. Depending upon what the requirement is, you can, you know, you're basically helping ensure that we're delivering based on the customer-centric requirement before it's actually delivered. So customer feedback is invaluable to our overall strategic product direction. So please, we encourage you to participate and help us, build the future of IDMS. All right, so just adding to that, some of you may be aware of this, but we are hosting monthly roadmap sessions for many of our products, including CA IDMS, and the schedules are posted out on communities. So our goal is to, basically ensure that we're gaining higher visibility within our customer base at all the different levels. I think that, historically, practitioners know what we're doing within IDMS from a development perspective, but sometimes that message does not reach some of the management levels within organizations, and it's important for them to be aware of the value that that IDMS brings to your organization and the investments that we're making from a CA perspective. So please invite folks to these webcasts. They're very, very good source of information. And then I'll turn it over to Ravi, and then Ravi I'll close at the very end. But if you'd like to talk a little bit about some of the upcoming events, that would be fantastic.
Thanks, Sheila. So in addition to the communication channels that Sheila just described, I'd like to highlight two important upcoming events where you can network with mainframe experts. The first is the Mainframe Virtual Summit, which is at 11 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday, June 26th. This will provide an opportunity for you to hear on topics such as mainframe best practices, DevOps, IT ops, and security. On that same day, we are going to launch our virtual trade show floor experience, which is going to cover the entire CA mainframe portfolio. And we will have a section for IDMS where you will find a replay of this webcast as well as ongoing webcasts. And we will also feature how-to videos and tips and tricks for using IDMS based on customer feedback. So eager to get suggestions from all of you on the types of content you'd like to see at this site. You can register now by going to our mainframe page on ca.com. The second event, which is really an expanded in-person equivalent of the virtual summit, is of course CA World, our marquee event for the year, where you can take advantage of product training, strategic direction sessions, demos, and hands-on labs. This year, the event is shifting to Miami Beach in Florida, and once again, it's the week before Thanksgiving. So please save the date, and we will be in touch with you with more details as that comes closer. So I hope to see you at these events, either virtually or in person. And Sheila, I'll turn it back to you.
In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Sheila and Dave, thank you very much for your time. Always a great job when you guys present. And Ravi, you as well. Thanks for joining us. And to those of you who attended the session today, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time as well. And I know that Sheila, Dave, and Ravi have plans for this to be a series. So keep an eye out in the community for announcements around that. And for those of you who might have colleagues who might be interested in this content, I should have the replay of this event available in the community either later today or tomorrow. So thank you very much, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.